Hello, fellow humans, and welcome back to Shitcoin Fundamentals, the channel on YouTube in which we dig through the steaming pile of shitcoins to find the gold nuggets within. Today, we have a first time for the channel. I mean, it's not so surprising. The channel is not that old, but still a first time. We're actually talking a second time about the project that I have already talked with. I will leave the link to the initial video I made about JasmyCoin, the coin we're also talking about today. I will leave the first video here as a link. So if you're interested to find out more about the fundamentals of that coin, please look at this video. What we will talk about today is actually the updates, and we will also analyze why I think, or why I have the suspicion, that the Jasmy project is actually a stealth operation of the SONY Corporation, which we all know from mobile phones, computers, and many other things like PlayStation and so on. I will go through the reasoning. Of course, as always, I start with the disclaimer. This is not financial advice. Also, I'm not sure about anything I present to you. I will put out the information that I currently have, and I will give my assessment about this information. I will leave also all the links to the sources I use for this video down in the description below, so you're very well free to check out the links by yourself, come to your own conclusion. But what I want to show you today and what I want to discuss with you is that there is already the rumors around in the internet that actually the Jasmy project is a stealth operation or is owned or run or whatever by the SONY Corporation. And we will go through some sources and we will analyze that. Is that really the case? Is that possible? Does that make sense at all? One of the reasons I do this video now, there are some updates on the Jasmy coin. It was listed on more coin exchanges. It starts now as a payment method on an NFT platform. There is a cooperation with a Japanese tourism agency. There's many things going on currently in the Jasmy universe, and I think that makes it also worth to talk about it. And since approximately 2 days, the coin is pumping like crazy, and I think I know why, and I will tell you today. So the most obvious reason why I think that that Jasmy could be stronger connected to SONY is, of course, a team. I mean, yeah, it's you will say, like, of course, that's the most shallow argument you can have, and that's true, but that's the first argument of many I have, you will see. So basically, the full management founder team of Jasmy project are all former executives of SONY in different kind of positions. There is, for example, Kunitake Ando. Sorry for the name if I butcher it. I have no experience in Japanese, so please tell me if down in the description below if I mispronounce the names. There is Katsumasa Sato and Masanobu Yoshida. Sorry for the names again. All three of them were working for SONY and all had key positions within the SONY Corporation. Kunitake Ando actually was a long-time president or CEO of SONY, was also part of the board, and was responsible for many things like, for example, the introduction of Vayu, Xperia, mobile phone line, and many other products, and was actually building this company SONY as it exists now today as a multi-product tech company. He is actually one of the responsible person for making that happen. So he's a key person in the SONY Corporation, not just some person that actually was working at SONY. He's really key leadership of SONY Corporation. You can check it out. There is a very interesting Wikipedia entrance. There's also reports of him when he was a board member of SONY itself, where they tell about his CV. You can just go through it and you will see yourself what kind of important role he actually took in the SONY Corporation. Second, Katsumasa Sato. I will now have to check for the here we are. Actually, I pulled up the patents that he's holding. Sorry, I have to go through my own. I have too many links open. He has actually a ton of patents for the SONY corporations, which are owned by the SONY corporations, where he was a key contributor. with, or one of the contributors at least, in all different kind of fields. He was hugely important for the IT business of Sony, technology like mobile phones and so on. He's a key contributor to that part, to the technological part of Sony. The same is actually true for Masanobu Yoshida, even in a much stronger technical field. So both Katsumasa Sato as also Masanobu Yoshida, sorry, I'm still having problems with the names, but we will get there. We're actually working together on many projects. Katsumasa Sato was more in the design part, whereas Masanobu Yoshida was in the technological part, and they both have worked on many of the patents that are available online together, and they both are key players in technological development of many tech or high-tech applications within the Sony universe. You can see there are pages and pages of different patents in various different fields, from medical over IT, over wearables, many things. What is interesting is Masanobu Yoshida was working, it seems, before also, or was contributing to Fujitsu limited patents. So he was doing a ton of patents that are now owned by Fujitsu Limited. We will get later to the point why that may be important. Okay, so we know now that all three of the co-founders of the Jasmy project are key persons within the Sony corporation, or were key persons within the Sony corporation, depending on how actually the structure is. So now the second question is, why should Sony not run a project like Jasmy under their own name? The argument there is that regulation in Japan to run blockchain-based technologies, cryptocurrencies, is super heavy. And it would be a huge risk. It would be a highly financial and also business risk for Sony to run such a experiment, let's call it experiment, by themselves. This could be one of the arguments why Sony is running this kind of experiment, blockchain experiment, as a separate company with a management team that is basically very close to the Sony management team. It's just an argument. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that it's true, but it makes it more plausible that Jasmy could be actually a Sony project, a stealth project by the Sony Corporation. However, it doesn't stop there. Don't get me wrong. I have some more up my sleeve. Let's translate this here fast. It's all in Japanese. So this is basically the press release that Jasmy did when it was incorporated in 2019. So it was just a press release, what they want to do, what is their aim, and what they want to reach with the company. And here some major points. Sorry, I have to find it fast. Yeah, these are the partners they have found. There are a couple of partners here mentioned, like Centrality and some others, Transcosmos, and a couple of others. But what is very important is Vayu Corporation. Vayu Corporation, I mean, Vayu, maybe you have heard it, is basically a notebook brand, was actually part of the Sony Corporation and was one of the many achievements that we're coming back to Kunitake Ando, who actually was one of the main people who was responsible for the Vayu brand within the Sony universe. So they brought it out, and clearly Jasmy states here that Vayu is one of the major partners, where Vayu is not part of Sony anymore, but a very close company to the Sony Corporation. Even further, that gets even further interesting when you do some research. It's actually an article on Reddit where I found out about that. If I find the Reddit article, I will leave also the link to the Reddit article here, just to give a shout out to the person who actually found out about this. I just searched the paper. Actually, the link that was on Reddit was not available anymore, but luckily there is a Wayback Machine, so I used the Wayback Machine to find the document on actually the Vayu homepage. You see here is vayu.com, news, PDF data, PR79.pdf. You will say, yeah, that's a lot of Chinese symbols. You have no idea what that means. And I also don't have, but I have Google Translate, and I have actually translated that. Jointly, so the part of this document states, jointly from November 2018 to create his IoT business by applying new blockchain technology, we are pleased to inform you that we have started the business study. So this is basically jointly with the Vayu Corporation and Jasmy. It's a little bit cut here through Google Translate, but it's basically Vayu Corporation and Jasmy announced that they have a joint project in which they want to apply blockchain technology on IoT systems. This document is not available on the Vayu webpage anymore, whatever that means. Maybe they broke up already, maybe there is no relation between these two. I cannot tell you what is actually happening there, but this document clearly states that there was at some point close cooperation and discussions between Vayu Corporation and the Jasmy project. Makes, of course, sense, because pretty sure the people within Jasmy know the Vayu Corporation very well, because it's basically that was what they were working in within the Sony Corporation until Vayu was spin out of Sony. Still, it's a very, very good sign that there is a strong connection to the environment of the Sony Corporation and the Jasmy project. So now I have to find my way back. I search. Here we are. So now talking about, so we understood now that there seems to be a connection between, there is definitely a connection between the former employees of Sony, key personnel within Sony that now run Jasmy project. There seems to be, or was at least, a connection to Vayu Corporation, which is also even getting much stronger when you look at the new release or the new news that we're putting out on the Jasmy webpage, which is Jasmy Secure PC, which is basically a software that helps to exchange data on your PC with other people without exchanging actually the real data. So it helps, for example, to understand an employer who gives you a PC, like what is the status of a project without actually harming your privacy. It's I don't fully understand what it does, because even the English webpage version, it's all in Japanese, and when you translate it, it's the translation is really not very good. So I'm not fully understand what the software is actually for, and how it is including the JasmyCoin. This I have not understood, so I will not claim that. But it's a very, very good relation also to the Vayu company that produces laptops on computers for business users. So there seems to be something going on between behind the curtains. Could also be that there is no relation anymore, but at least there seems to be something going on in this direction. However, now coming back, so we understand that there is a relation, some kind of relation between JasmyCoin and the greater environment of Sony. But now is the question, could there be something within Sony where the Jasmy project could have come out of? So was there maybe already a research project within the Sony Corporation that potentially was leading to an idea for Jasmy and then for the spin out of the Jasmy project? And in fact, there is such a project, which absolutely perfectly fits with the foundation of the Jasmy Corporation or Jasmy project. So basically, the Sony Corporation was since 2018, 2019 researching in the application of blockchain or of distributed ledger technologies in different kind of fields. So the first release is actually here. This is in Coin Intelligence released this in 2019. Is a project where Sony was doing some experiments and doing some research into how blockchain or distributed ledger technologies could be used for digital rights management. So basically, if you want to buy movie or a CD, listen to some music, how the digital rights could be distributed and how it could be worked with this, which is basically comes back to NFTs. So what we know now as NFTs, I mean, NFTs are not just creepy pictures that you can just copy and paste from OpenSeas. No, there's also a greater application of NFTs actually, and this is like dealing with music rights, movie rights, so on, distributing them and earning money from them, monetizing them. And Sony was actually researching into that field and was proposing a solution or was working on a solution based on blockchain technology to organize rights of different data sets. Doesn't have to be always music, could also be your personal data, social media data, so on. So basically they built what they call digital rights management, DRM, or based on distributed ledger technologies. So here's an article, again, in the description below. If you want to read it, I will not go now all the way through it, but basically it tells you what they want to achieve with that. And they also state clearly that this is not the only application of this. Then we go further 1 year, actually. This is actually a press release by the Sony Corporation itself in the beginning of 2020. So last year, they released that. This is development of MAAS, Common Database Platform, utilizing blockchain technology. Now you will ask, what does that mean? MAAS is mobility as a service. So public transport, car sharing, these little electro scooters you sometimes rent in the city. This is all part of mobility as a service. So where you don't buy a device to drive, but you basically rent it for a short term. They run actually a pilot project with the Netherlands Ministry of Infrastructure and Water Management, which was searching a solution for their public transport situation. So basically a system that would manage public transport, payments for public transport, information distribution, the planning of routes, things like this. There's actually a quote here. Multimodal MAAS integrates means of transportation such as trains, buses, taxis, car sharing, on-demand mobility services, rental bicycles using IT and cloud technology to provide users with information regarding optimal routes to desired destinations and recommend transportation means and services. So basically you say you want to go somewhere and that system figures out how in the best way you get there. Now it gets interesting. When you go back to the Jasmy webpage, and I will not show you the whole video, but they have here an interesting video which is called Paradigm Shift. And basically what it does, it shows you how you could use the Jasmy project or the JasmyCoin or the Jasmy platform actually, when you want to travel from, I think the example here is from Tokyo to Okinawa, how the Jasmy platform would actually organize your trip, would tell you which means of transportation to take, which is the fastest route, where to go, where to leave your luggage, and many, many other things. It is exactly what Sony has described with their blockchain common database. It's exactly the same thing. And the weirdest thing of this is, since this press release, there is no mention of that system anymore anywhere connected to Sony. Doesn't mean anything, but it shows, it puts the suggestion out there that actually what Jasmy project is doing is putting this blockchain common database as proposed by Sony in actual reality. Having in mind the strict regulation of cryptocurrencies in Japan, and all of this information I laid out now here, I think it makes sense that actually Jasmy could be a stealth project by the Sony Corporation to basically try out cryptocurrency to see how it could be applied, learn from the market, being in the market, and just learn how to best apply their solutions within the market. That would make absolute sense in that case. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean it is like this, but there is good evidence that suggests that route actually. And I think this is a very interesting point, because I'm really looking forward to this. No matter if the Sony Corporation is involved or not in Jasmy, I'm very, very, very for that project. I really believe in the project, what they're selling. I also think that currently JasmyCoin is actually a token. It's a Ethereum-based token. I don't think that Ethereum is necessarily the best solution for what they're planning to do. However, many blockchain projects actually started as tokens on other blockchains until they actually started to develop their own blockchain technology. I don't know if this will happen with JasmyCoin. I really hope they will do that, because I don't think that Ethereum is necessarily the best from scaling, cost, and many other problems that Ethereum system has, Ethereum network has. But I see huge potential in the idea, in the network, and of the possibilities of the Jasmy project. If it is connected to Sony, even better, because then they have a tech giant behind them, which can really push them forward and make things happening much faster. A good indicator for this, that there is somebody behind them, which gives them a lot of traction, is actually it's a very young project. The project exists like end of 2019, 2020, actually, I think the beginning of 2020, the coin first appeared. And since then, JasmyCoin is basically listed on every major exchange, which is super fast for any crypto project. They have already applications, mainly in Japan currently. Clearly, their marketing sucks very badly. It's mostly in Japanese. Even if you click on English on the web page, like 80% of the web page stays in Japanese, which is of course horrible marketing strategy. But nevertheless, technologically, I really believe in the project. And if they're backed by Sony, this will really start off this project. I don't want to say to the moon, because it's already so often used, but I really believe in this project, and I think there's huge possibility that this project actually will set off, and the coin will set off, but also the technological applications will be major of that. So with this said, I don't know if it's really part of Sony or not, or what the relation is, but I hope you enjoyed my video. If you liked the video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and if you agree, disagree, you have a different opinion, maybe you have some additional information that I didn't know about, just leave it down in the description below. I'm happy to engage with you and discuss further. So thanks for your attention, and see you. Bye-bye.